Super Typhoon Uwan, internationally known as Fung-wong, struck the Philippines with extraordinary power, unleashing fierce winds, relentless rain, and violent storm surges that battered vast portions of Luzon. The storm's massive size and intensity caused widespread devastation and panic across multiple regions. The system rapidly intensified over warm Pacific waters before slamming into eastern Luzon, bringing destructive winds exceeding 185 kilometers per hour. Forecast models had warned of possible super typhoon status as meteorologists tracked the storm's deep convection and well-defined eye. Government agencies activated the highest storm alerts as Uwan advanced inland. Warnings of severe flooding, storm surges exceeding 3 meters, and potential landslides prompted urgent calls for mass evacuation and immediate safety preparations across vulnerable coastal provinces.
May labaw na tukawan sa waiting shed. May ba na sa gugur.
More than 1 million people were evacuated from flood-prone and low-lying areas. Families were moved into temporary shelters such as schools, churches, and community centers as soldiers and rescue teams worked tirelessly to clear roads and transport stranded residents. In several provinces, Torrential rainfall quickly submerged communities, isolating towns and washing away crops. Rivers swelled beyond capacity, while rescuers braved strong currents to assist trapped residents climbing onto rooftops as floodwaters rose through their homes.
Yun ako rin ang kamugtakan dili sa gugon. Grabe yun, kasulog ng
Massive power outages spread across eastern Luzon and Bicol as electric poles and communication lines collapsed under the storm's strength. Emergency response teams rushed to restore access, while hospitals operated on generators to care for displaced families.
Sa tulay ni Santo Domingo, buhat na.
Air and sea travel ground to a halt as Uwan's winds tore through the region. Hundreds of domestic and international flights were cancelled and ferry operations were suspended, leaving thousands of passengers stranded in terminals and ports.
Piknik bagyo. Yan ang piknik bagyo.
Meteorological trackers showed the storm's diameter extending over 1,400 kilometers, affecting areas far from the landfall point. Even regions in northern Luzon and parts of Visayas experienced strong gales and unrelenting rainfall from the outer rain bands. In Bicol and Quezon, coastal villages faced terrifying storm surges that swept through houses and fishing boats. Residents described waves as high as coconut trees, pounding the shorelines and destroying sea walls meant to protect their towns. Defense and disaster agencies coordinated nationwide efforts, deploying soldiers, police, and volunteers for relief and rescue. The national government ordered suspension of work and classes, while emergency hotlines received continuous calls for help. As night fell, the storm's ferocity intensified, toppling trees and damaging countless homes. Television footage captured roofs being blown off and floodwaters turning roads into rivers, leaving entire neighborhoods barely recognizable beneath debris. Foreign embassies, including the US and Japan, issued advisories urging citizens to follow local evacuation orders. International aid groups prepared assistance packages in anticipation of large-scale humanitarian needs following Uwan's destructive passage.
Hangin. Matindi ano? Yeah.
The Philippine Coast Guard played a crucial role in relocating residents from coastal areas. Videos showed trucks packed with evacuees, including children and elderly people, being moved to safer ground amid strong winds and heavy rain. Local officials compared Uwan's magnitude to some of the worst storms in history. Communities still reeling from Typhoon Kalmegi's earlier destruction struggled once again to protect homes, crops, and livelihoods from another catastrophic blow. Reports confirmed at least one fatality, a woman killed while trying to evacuate, and several others injured by falling debris. Authorities warned that final casualty numbers could rise as search operations continued.